got something to finish. I'll be here making these off jump.
Hello, everybody out there. This is Mixlam of the Miles Revolution, and you are watching the premiere episode of a new playlist that we are starting called The Countdown to Revolution. What is the Countdown to Revolution? Well, I, Mixlam, and perhaps a few friends or special guests from time to time will be doing top 10 lists. And these top 10 lists will have to do anything with music. So, if you have something you would like us to count down, let us know. Anything to do with music is fair game. So, for today, I am going to start with one of my favorite bands in my top 4. So, I'll probably do all 4 of these bands, actually, but I'm going to start with this one. This one is The Cure. I really liked The Cure when I was younger, but I mostly only knew their popular stuff. But as I got older, I started discovering some of their other earlier albums. I started listening to the whole albums, and I found out, like, wow, these things really have a lot to say. And I really like just the whole atmosphere of the albums. And The Cure is one of those bands that you can listen to individual songs and it is good, but they are much better when you take an album as a whole and you just can kind of sit back and just take it all in. So with that said, I could rank them all, but I'm going to go with 10. So number 10, the 10 best album for me, I think, is Wild Mood Swings. Now, Wild Mood Swings is a lot different than a lot of other Cure albums. It comes out in the mid-90s. A lot of fans don't like it as much as a lot of the other ones. I'm one of those people. I listen to the whole album every now and again, but Poppy Cure is generally not my favorite, and that's a lot what this album is. But if I have to pick my favorite song on the album, I am going to go with Want. Just the first song on the album it comes out, I think Want is a really solid song. Number 9. Now I know I ranked this album way lower than most Cure fans, so I apologize in advance to all those who will disagree with me, but I am going to go with 17 Seconds. I don't dislike 17 Seconds. Again, I don't dislike any album. I like all the Cure stuff. But to me, 17 Seconds is just the Cure getting going, and it's just like, it's not quite at Faith and Pornography yet. It's like kind of them getting a foothold on what they're going to be. The best track on this album, I would have to say, is The Forest. I mean, it's the most popular song, but also the bass line in the song. I mean, who can top this? The Forest is it just comes right at you right from right from the beginning of the song. Number 8, The Cure's self-titled album from the early 2000s. This album, I have mixed feelings on it because I go back and forth. If you ask me maybe in a couple more weeks, I might even drop it out of my top 10. But at the moment, I've been listening to it a little more. I like it. It's another one of those ones I like about half of the songs. You do see the production is a lot different than the other albums. It's definitely not very dark. It's very poppy. I do love the single "Love You More." I think that's one of the better Cure songs, actually. So I really enjoy. I really enjoy that song. So that song alone really like boosted up for me. Number 7. Number 7 is another album for me that really goes up and down on my list, depending on mood. But I think that's with most of us Cure fans is depending on the mood we're in at the given time, we're going to have the songs and the albums kind of move around. But I'm going to go with Blood Flowers. Now, Didn't really like Blood Flowers at all, to be honest, when I first heard it. I listened to the album all the way through twice because I really, really wanted to like Blood Flowers. And I couldn't get very into it. And it wasn't until I watched the the trilogy concert they did in Germany that you can see on DVD. I'm sure you can also find it on YouTube here, where they play the trilogy albums. Of course, Robert Smith says that the trilogy albums are Pornography, Disintegration, and then Blood Flowers is supposed to be the culmination of all three of these albums. When I watched the live version of it, it blew me away. It was like I was hearing these songs for the first time. The Cure live is better always, actually. I think almost all the live versions are better than the album versions. But Blood Flowers especially, there was something about when I heard Blood Flowers perform live, it was just so much better than the album for me. And then I started loving the album. Best song on Blood Flowers is Maybe Someday. I love the lyrics. There's just so much to love about the song. Every time I hear that song, I'm able to apply it to something. I'm able to apply it to something different in my life. And again, that's a lot what I like about Robert Smith is not only does he have a wonderful timeless voice, but his lyrics are, in my opinion, he's the best lyricist ever. For me, his lyrics touch me and move me much more than any other band or artist out there. Number 6, I am going to go with, again, a lot of Cure fans are going to put this much higher than me, but here we go. Faith. Again, I think Faith is like 17 seconds in the way of it's a step up from there. And again, we're seeing what the Cure can become. It's a great album that you can just sit back and relax to. I love to put on Faith sometimes in just a dark room and you just kind of lay there in your bed. I'll fall asleep to Faith. Faith is, it's relaxing. It's relaxing. And the album is very dark. I think the best song is, I have to go with The Tie. I have to go with The Tie because these songs were written right together. And I think they're very connected. They're right together on the album also. Is All Cats Are Gray and The Funeral Party. If I have to pick one, Funeral Party wins out for me just by a hair. But I think the songs definitely go right together. And they're depressing in the most beautiful, beautiful ways. I think these two songs are actually Robert at his depressingly beautiful best. Number 5, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Perhaps their poppiest album. I mean, it has their biggest hit, just like Heaven. And that's most of the time when you meet someone and you tell them they like The Cure, that's the song that pops into their head. And it's a great song. I mean, I don't really like pop music, but Just Like Heaven is a fantastic song, even though that's the one everybody plays. And I usually don't do this with most albums of most bands I like, but I think Just Like Heaven is actually the best song on the album. Usually I don't pick the most popular song as my favorite, but this one I will. Just Like Heaven gets its just due, actually. And it's great to see. It's a double album. Some of the songs on there are a little missed for me, but for the most part, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, you can just sit down and listen to for a long time. I definitely don't get bored of the album. Number 4. Now these 4, now that we're in the top 4, these 4 albums to me are pretty much perfect. Again, I love all the Cure albums, but these albums to me are all 10 out of 10. If I have to have a top 10 album list, it'd be very hard for me to leave any of these 4 albums off. So number 4, I will go with another a little more poppy album, but Head on the Door. Head on the Door, every song is fantastic for me. Um, my favorite song is A Night Like This. Yes, they do get more poppy with Head on the Door. They do become a little more like commercial friendly, but I think the songs are just so catchy. And not only are they catchy and perhaps a little poppy, but they still have something to say. And that is what's so great, again, about The Cure, is that no matter what direction they go in, Robert still has something to say that can still be touching. Number three. Number three is Wish. Again, a 10 out of 10 album. And an album when I was young, I didn't really like that much. Again, only knowing The Cure's popular songs, I heard Friday I'm in Love. And I loved it. I saw it on MTV. I loved that song. I also loved Letters to Elise. And I went out and I bought the album. I listened to the first song and I was like, what is this? I started listening to the album. I was like, this is horrible. Horrible. But it took me until I was older till I really started to appreciate what was going on in this album. And then I started loving it. And now if I have to say what is the best song on this album, like all albums, it switches. But if you ask me today, Doing the Unstuck. Doing the Unstuck is this song where when you're just having a bad day, you can listen to it and it's so upbeat, but yet it's so dark at the same time. It's a song to me that's about, despite all your best efforts, things are the house is always on fire. Things are always crumbling, but you kind of push on anyway. And you find, I think, when I listen to this song, again, everybody's gonna have different interpretation of these, but you kind of learn to find a way to find some sort of contentment in the fire as it's burning. And like he says, it's a perfect day for letting go. Sometimes everything's going wrong, but you just have to kind of let it go and move forward. Number two is Pornography. Pornography. What can I say about this album? It's another one of those. When I first heard it, I was like, I don't know. But I think you have to be a certain personality for this album because I can see a lot of people just hating this. As much as I love The Cure, I don't recommend The Cure for everybody because I know it's not everybody's kind of cup of tea. Pornography is an album that can really change your life. For me, it's one of those albums. The first time I really got enthralled with it, I mean, it was really blind. I mean, it was mind blowing to me. It was so moving. It was like taking all of my pain and have it being like told back to me. Um, what Robert does on this album lyrically and musically is nothing short of amazing to me. I mean, there's no album I don't think that's ever spoken to me as much as this one. If I have to pick a favorite song on this album, it's hard because Pornography isn't really like a song by song album. I think out of all their albums, this is the one you have to listen to beginning to end. It's really hard for me to just kind of randomly listen to one song. But if I have to pick, I'm gonna pick Strange Day. I think Strange Day is, uh, yeah, it's one of those things to me. I listen and it always just kind of describes my life back to me. I always feel like I'm living kind of in this kind of strange day that just keeps going and going and going. Number one is no surprise. Probably 90% or so of Cure fans are going to pick this number one. Most music fans are going to pick this number one because it's the Cure album they're going to know the best. It was their 1989 breakout album, Disintegration. Disintegration, what can I say about it that hasn't already been said? If I want to use the cliche, But Disintegration is nothing less than classic. I mean, it is not just the best Cure album, but it is one of the best albums ever created. And it has really something for everybody. I mean, you have the hit Love Song right there. I mean, it's radio friendly. It's for people that don't even like The Cure. They might like Love Song. You have really long songs like Pictures of You, which, by the way, is my favorite song on the album. You have songs that are going to be for real Cure fans, like Homesick and Same Deep Water as You, that are just epic songs that go on forever, but you never get tired of listening to them and continually move you the whole time. But perhaps the best opening song on any album ever to set a tone for an album, perhaps, is Plain Song. At first, you think something's wrong with your stereo, you think something's wrong with your speakers, but as those bells suddenly come in, and that buildup is just, it's amazing. It's the most emotional buildups to an album for me, and it just sets the tone so well for the album. So that is my list. That's my top 10 list of the best albums by The Cure. What is your top 10 list? Go ahead and tell us down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so that you can see more of our lists. If there is something that you would like to see us count down, anything to do with music, let us know. And we will try to get that for you. And The Cure, don't forget, were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Finally, well deserved, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all the rumors, and Robert himself has told us that there will be a new Cure album in 2020. So, this year, hoping and praying that there will be another Cure album. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.